Hi, this is Brennan Davis from Bedrock Games and the Bedrock blog, and I'm here with Adam and Joel. And today we're going to be talking about Holy Virgin versus the Evil Dead. Holy Virgin vs. Evil Dead is a 1991 film directed by Tony Chun Koo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's the director behind Lady Assassin, Holy Flame of the Martial World, Bastard Swordsman, and Lover's Blades. Lover's Blades is a really good movie, but all of the movies that I just listed are pretty top notch. He's directed a lot of movies, so that those are like ones that jumped out at me as highlights. In the movie, Professor Xiang's female students are chewed apart by the moon monster. At first, Xiang is a police suspect, but as the corpses mount, the cops realize that there are supernatural forces at work. And that was the IMDb breakdown, which we always use. I guess the first question is that accurate in your minds, or is that missing the plot?
I mean, it's like the intro scene. Like they're talking about like the first
Yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes
It's like
of the
it's an
movie.
accurate blurb. It's an accurate blurb. You're not getting the full scope of the movie, I suppose, but you certainly get
Yeah,
like that's how it opens. So
sure.
I'll give it a passing grade, I suppose. Though I think it
That's
fails
like
to, huh?
that's like a C,
It, it,
maybe. It's
it
like a
doesn't include there's something weird about this movie that just is not present in that description, and I think that's that's the problem. But
there's
anyway,
just one weird thing about this movie, people. Only one.
so
It's not like a giant laundry list of inexplicable, baffling elements or anything.
so since it was your first times watching it, how did you guys feel about the movie?
I had a really good time with this movie. I really did. It's not schlocky exactly, but it's a touch exploitative in a fun way. It's not gross. It's got great fights, and it has a lot of them, so that's really fun. It's got a really good pace. I like all the characters. All the characters are very vibrant and interesting. The villains are great. It's got a really fun structure. This is a good movie. I really enjoyed it. So that's my very brief intro, because I know Adam's chomping at the bit over there. I can see him mouth just foaming, just ready to
Shut
completely.
up, Joel. You're done. It's my turn. But, um, no, no, it's interesting actually. Brandon mentioned the same director as Holy Flame of the Martial World. I didn't know that, but I'm like, oh, I totally,
Yeah,
totally see that. That movie is bonkers. I
yeah,
love that movie. But yeah, this is just a really fun movie. I mean, in the category of horror, it's in the fun category of horror, not the, brutal, you're gonna feel like killing yourself afterwards
yeah.
kind of horror movie. So yeah, this is just a good time. The characters are very broad but entertaining. It's got some good comedic elements. It's got good fight scenes. I don't have anything deep to say
Hmm.
about this at the moment, but no, good
It's
movie.
also, in fairness, it's not the deepest movie in the world, probably. So that's
No, exactly. I don't know that there are deeper depths to
Yeah.
be found, but I
Yeah,
really
this is
enjoyed
kind
it.
of like reviewing Evil Dead 2 or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Evil Dead 3 or Ash vs. Evil Dead. It's kind of like I liked this movie. It was fun. And then you just have to start describing scenes because, like, if you try to
yeah.
generalize this movie, you lose what's really fun and magical about it.
Well, yeah, so it's one thing I want to touch on. I guess I should mention. I remember we did rigor mortis, which did not land as well with you guys, and so I thought Adam's comment was interesting because this really is like I think when I was thinking of this movie, it was like this is like as far from rigor mortis. It's not dour,
Yeah.
it's not oppressive, it's very fun, and even though it's grotesque and has a lot of sex and stuff like that, it still feels like a Halloween movie to me. It just has that kind of
Yeah.
campy quality. And Joel, you said it's not schlocky. I would disagree with that. I think this is a very schlocky movie.
Really?
I would
I would even say
in a
it's like
good way. It's
the epitome of good schlock is what this movie is for me.
Oh man, I don't know. We'd have to. We might
Here's
go around
you.
about that
Okay,
because, like,
yeah.
let me
I
let
I
me
think
disagree
we
very much.
should.
let me ask you this. I wrote a review of it. I haven't put the review out yet, but this is the phrase I used to describe the movie. Schlock of the highest order is my description of it.
Mm.
So what's not what? How's it not schlocky? I guess. I mean, I guess we
I
need
mean,
to
it's
define
it's a low
schlock
it's low
first.
budget, number one. You know, it's
Yeah.
Well,
you know.
I mean, but lots of great films were low budget, though. I mean, so you can't use that as the definition. I guess, really, we
Well,
need to kind of like nail down a little bit what the parameters of schlock. Understanding that you might have something with this being on like the very top of
Okay,
the
well,
pile of
so
schlock.
so so I'm going to give you the dictionary definition, which is
Yeah, okay, let's do
Oh.
that.
the,
Let's
the
start with that.
informal North American English definition: cheap or inferior goods or material trash.
Ooh, I wouldn't call this that at
nah,
all.
I wouldn't use that definition. If we're going with that
It's a
definition,
terrible
it's not
definition.
schlock. But
Well,
yeah,
even
I mean, it's
even
not the way I usually hear schlock
Well, how would you
used. Because I
interpret
mean,
schlock? How would you interpret schlock, Adam?
I know
it's
I've got the
movies.
interpretation. It's really easy. It's a glorious celebration of low culture.
Yeah,
Simple
I
as
was
But
that.
gonna
I
That's
say,
what
think, but I
schlock
think,
is.
but that's what I think we're
I
getting at with
agree.
the trash.
Well,
I think when you say it's trashy in the way that like Married with Children was a fun show, but it's trashy, right? And I think in the same
It
way,
is
this
trashy,
is
and you could also call it schlocky, but I think those are distinct categories. I
I
think
think
trashy means being kind of bad and gross on purpose, and you don't have to do that for
well,
schlock. I think with schlock, you just have to be, you have to look and see what's genuinely like celebrated in lower class culture and elevate that.
okay. So
Like
here's
that's
a
schlock.
here's a slightly better, I think, working. And I know we're kind of getting bogged down.
No, this is
In
important.
I was going to give my
so so
definition,
he,
but
here
I
so
don't think
here's
we're
a
going
Never.
to.
so term given to a film that represents a low budget horror flick with overly sensational plots, lurid special effects, and perhaps a bit of immature, albeit comedic gag style underbelly. Wouldn't I would say that's a
Okay.
pretty
Yeah, that's
accurate. Yeah.
great. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's go with that one. So what's the gag?
I mean, the gag is when they kick people, they go flying 20 feet, hit a tree, and then plop to the ground every single time.
Isn't that a kung fu staple too as well
It
then?
is, but
Like, are we gonna call that a gag?
I think in this movie it qualifies as a gag. It lands a
I
certain
think it
way.
was. Are you not finding any humor in this movie, Joel? Because
No,
it
I
baffles me.
definitely did, but I mean, again, I don't necessarily think that humor came from like gags and so much. And now, mind you, I do want to contextualize my opinion for you guys. The movie I saw prior to this to prep my mind for it was Mr. Vampire. So that is a shocking
Well,
movie.
but that's
a
but
very
that's a
goofy movie.
very comedic movie. So that's I think
It is.
this is more in Evil Dead territory than Mr. Vampire
Yeah,
territory. But it's not
I did
it's
think
not
of
it's
Evil
not
Dead
as
too.
overtly slapstick as Evil Dead 2, but it still has that kind of quality to it. Like okay, the example when he sees the guy dressed in denim that he thinks is the Moon Demon, and he leaps after him and just starts pummeling him in the street, and then the cop stops him and like puts a gun in his head. That was, that was a
You
very,
might have something there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also you just like it's a fun like the word we kept using was fun. You know what I mean? So like
It is
even
fun,
when
yes.
seriously things are going on, there's like an edge of humor to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and everything's kind of got like a little bit of a goofiness to it. Like they're like, oh, let's go talk to this professor at the library, Mr. So and so, and then they get there and it's like this really hot woman and it's not a guy at all, and you know what I mean? Like just like little things like that are they're more. I don't know. It just feels like there's like a little bit more of a comedic edge to every little element of the plot as it advances.
This is true. They also have a lot of, and I want to keep in mind that we're watching the sort of restored version of this film. So there's two cuts, right? There's like the popular one that was pretty cut
Yeah.
down, and then we watched the one that was restored, which might fit Adam's definition of schlock. I'm kind of curious what it is now. I was sitting here like waiting for you to get done talking because I'm actually I was like, what is his definition of schlock? Uh, but like, yeah, okay. So you're bringing me around here. You're bringing me around here. There's a lot of gratuitously nude people in this show.
Yeah,
It's not, I don't think it's
there's
just women.
I mean, to me, when I see a movie like this, schlock leaps to mind as like one of the essential traits of the film. But I think it's like an example of really, really good schlock. I think that, and it's not something that you have to like ironically appreciate. It's just that
Yeah,
it
I was
knows what
never
kind
like
of movie it
turned.
is.
Yeah, I was never like turned off by the schlock. I was never like, ugh. You know, I never had like that disgust response. So maybe that was it. Because to me, schlock, and this is kind of your fault too. Remember that movie we reviewed with all the people like melting into toilets?
Oh yeah,
What was
yeah.
that one called? I forget what
Street
it's
trash.
That was,
Street trash.
Street
yeah,
trash.
Yeah,
Yeah, street
that
trash.
was my recommendation.
Adam, you're a genius. That is perfect schlock. If that's your definition of schlock, you absolutely nailed it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was
that-
when you guys were working on schlock, and you
Yeah.
guys were talking about schlock, and I said you guys should watch Street Trash
Yeah.
if you're making a schlock game.
Yeah, here,
That was
You
what
were
I said.
100% correct.
I mean, the main point I'm getting at, this is not Rosemary's Baby. This is not
No,
The Witch.
okay, I'll give you that.
This is not,
Also true.
any kind of, it's not Jaws. It's not that kind of movie.
It's more like The Exorcist.
I mean, it's like it's like Night of the Demons. It's like Night of the Demons if I was going to compare it to a
Well,
movie.
yeah, it is kind of like Night of the
Yeah.
Demons, actually. That's a good comparison. Damn it! How dare you be so erudite? I veto your opinion. It's too good. Adam, what's your?
Are you okay, Joel?
I'm fine. I've just been extremely caffeinated.
Okay.
Okay, so no, I really did genuinely enjoy this movie too. And okay, all right, I'm willing to accept the definition that this is kind of the apex of schlock films.
Yeah. I mean, to me,
proving one can polish a turd.
when I think of schlock, I just think a movie that's got like trashy elements to it, and I think that those can be of higher or lower quality depending on the kind of movie it is. And I think this movie,
I think you've got something there.
I think this movie,
I mean, the one thing there's no pretension to a schlock
Yes,
movie. It's
yes.
not trying. It's not trying
Yeah,
to be
that's a
art
good
at
point.
all. That is kind of the key thing I'm adding to the definition there.
yeah, and
That's
and,
a good ad, though. But I mean, the irony there is that the sincerity of that elevates it naturally into the artistic realm. So
Well, it can, yeah. I mean, that's my point though. It's not aspiring to art. You can just fall
Yeah.
into art.
yeah, it falls backwards gracelessly into art. I love that. That's brilliant.
Exactly.
but
Steps in the bucket of art.
And the guy who wrote it, there's an interview on the Blu-ray, and so he talks about how they were basically, he's like, we were going to make a Category 3 movie, and so he knows like he's doing it sort of knowing the genre that he's trying to write to. Do you know what I mean? It's very much a genre movie, and a little bit of a genre bending movie in a lot of ways, because a lot of these Hong Kong action movies, it's action, romance, horror, all kind of sandwiched together. There's even a
You'll
little
never
bit
get
of
bored trying to figure this movie out. It really gives you a lot of everything.
but he takes like really essential ingredients, because this is like a lot of these horror sort of martial arts movies, going back to think like this one doesn't have as much martial arts, but going back to like Black Magic and stuff like that, where the whole idea is there's like this Hong Kong connection, but also this like exotic place, usually in Southeast Asia or South Asia somewhere. And so
Kind of that duel of fists kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
With
and a movie that this one really looks like to me, resembles a lot, is The Witch from Nepal, which it takes place in Nepal, not in Cambodia, but there's a woman in the movie who is very similar to the princess in this movie in a lot of ways. There's even a scene with her and the bow and all that stuff. So and again, I don't think he's like ripping stuff off, but I think he's taking these sort of essential elements that he sees of this genre. We need the exotic location. We need the exotic woman who has some kind of special magic power. We need this like demonic creature that's like a threat. And we need this evil cult. And we have like this, hapless, sort of hero who's also got like a messy love life going on. Like he's got.
Was he hapless? I mean, we're talking about this
Hapless is the wrong
professor
word.
who's. No, let me finish.
Yeah.
We're talking about a professor who, he didn't kill the girls, but what was he doing out like at a campfire with all the girls in his class? It's just like there's something fishy about that. No matter.
Well, okay, so I do want to get into. So number one, he's a very competent protagonist, because in addition to being like this nerdy professor, he's amazing at martial arts. Like it's one of Donnie Yen's earlier performances.
He does seem like he's going to be the hapless nerd early on. But no, not at all.
But the whole thing with him and his wife and getting a divorce, and that being sort of a central plot element, and her explanation for why she's divorcing him is he likes his books more than her. But but like Adam was saying, the first thing we see him doing is out on this at this festival with all of these girls from his class, which might be totally innocent, but it also feels like maybe something.
That was what his wife calls
I don't know, man.
session. He tells his
Right.
wife, "Oh,
Well,
I got to work with
I've
some
got to
students
study these
tonight."
books. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a scene where they all offer him a piece of like they're cooking with
burnt
sticks
chicken.
over a fire. Yeah, at the same time, and he's just like, "Why is it so well done?" But it's like all at the same
Yeah.
time, and it's just like, oh,
Also, I don't know if you
very
guys,
cute after a moment.
I don't know if you noticed this, but he eats junk food throughout the whole movie. He drinks soda. He's got the
Snickers,
marshmallows,
McDonald's.
Snickers, the McDonald's. Like he's just eating junk food all the way through. I think at one
Yeah,
point he eats a steak. That's the healthiest thing we see him put in his mouth.
I wonder how much the companies appreciated the product placement in this movie. It's,
I will say I've never seen an apple pie from McDonald's look so delicious as it did in this
Yeah,
film.
that looked
for some-
amazing.
Yeah,
man, yeah, apple pies from McDonald's. Wow.
but in terms of that love triangle that they create, one of the things I thought was interesting about it is at first they like the wife looks like she's going to be a femme fatale at the beginning of the movie. We see her by the pool, there's
Yeah.
it's got the music playing. I love the introduction. I think the introduction is like one of the best parts of the movie because it just kind of pushes it gives the movie its energy. Like once you get that intro, you're like, okay, I'm ready for whatever is going to follow. But it presents oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, like like as soon as that intro wrapped up and we got into the movie proper, my first thought was, this was my doorway into this world. Like it really does show you what the movie's gonna be about, what its energy is. Like you really nailed it there. The intro of this movie is great.
It's like a music video. It's got that like that
Yeah.
weird combination of music and movement, and it's not even like the pretty woman in the depending on which version you see, the pretty naked woman or the woman in the bikini. It's the way she's moving across the screen, the way the camera is panning back as she moves. It just creates like a really interesting effect, I think. But they present her as a femme fatale. And initially, like, oh, she's going to be like the bitch in the movie. She's going to be like, a real difficult character for this hero. And I thought that it was interesting that the guy that she's with, they kind of become characters that are also important in the movie. And they're not meant to be like our objects of dislike as an audience where, there's some initial discomfort between the three of them. But he and the guy actually become quite close by the end of the movie, and the woman ends up, I don't want to spoil everything for people, but the woman ends up like playing a very important role in the finale in terms of taking care of the villain. So I thought for a schlocky movie, if it were bad schlock, what I would expect is for her to be like to have an attitude problem the whole film, and for the other guy to be this jerk, jealous rival that I'm supposed to dislike the whole movie. And I like that they didn't do that at all. That they just know these are going to be compelling, fun characters that the hero actually gets along with, even though he's kind of got this little bump in the road to get over at first.
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't see a lot of movies where a romantic couple begins broken up and then in the very early parts of the movie move on and create another secondary
Yeah.
healthy relationship out of it. It's pretty unusual and sophisticated. I don't see that very often.
This movie was the writer was trying to work through his divorce while writing this.
Well,
movie,
I don't know.
basically.
The writer just seemed like so energetic and like he enjoyed himself thoroughly in the writing of this movie. That was the impression I got
Oh
when I saw
yeah,
the interview.
no question about that.
But the other thing that I thought this movie had was Terminator energy because of the
Yeah.
moon demon.
Yeah.
I felt
Oh,
like
yeah.
I felt like he was that kind of a threat. And I thought that was a little bit interesting because it doesn't jump out at you right away, but you realize like, oh, he's this.
This was the same year as Judgment Day, actually, too.
That's
wasn't
true.
it?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we even got like the butt shot in the hospital. That's like
Yeah.
very reminiscent of the original Terminator.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
He plays possum a lot too, because they kind of fake kill him a few times,
Yeah.
and then he plays possum, and that ends up paying dividends as you continue watching the movie. I think that's kind of cool. It's like his move is, "Oh, you totally killed me. I'm definitely dead this time."
I enjoyed the fight scenes in this movie too. And most of them were relatively short too. They were just kind of punchy, did their thing, and kind of moved on. So I like that about
true.
The fight choreography in this was great. It was
Yeah.
and I hope I pronounced this correctly, but the action director was Choi Fat, who I believe played the villain, the guy that looked like the Colonel from KFC.
Oh, okay.
Man, he was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Ma Tin. Ma Tin is the bad guy, and again, the outfit does most of the work, but it doesn't matter
It really
because
does.
yeah.
He's even got like a plantation and everything. Like,
Yeah, well,
not beat the allegations,
okay.
Colonel.
Here's what I like about this movie, and just to comment on the action. It starts out as like a horror martial arts thing, and we get a lot of that in the beginning. Then we get kind of like, sort of more, I guess, like police detective type fight
Yeah,
scenes with the guy.
it becomes a police
Yeah.
thing for a little while.
But then it turns into like Scarface at the end of the movie, where they have like he's got like the villa with the guys with machine guns, or like Rambo or something in that category of film. And it's a nice blend of Donnie Yen's going in there, kicking guys, breaking their necks, but then he's taking a gun and he's like blasting people. It's just like a really good overall balance of everything.
It is. There's a variety to it,
Yeah, it's basically a Call of Cthulhu adventure. They spent a lot of time investigating, and then they just let's go blow up all the cultists at the end.
Well, no, I think there's a Lovecraftian thing here for sure.
Yeah.
Because of the cult and everything, and it just like you could definitely like see this as like a Lovecraft adventure or something. Like it just has that feel to it, or like a little bit of Indiana Jones or something. I don't know.
Indiana Jones is a good comparison too.
But yeah, an observation I made during the movie that made me laugh too is, it's like the wife, the ex-wife, or I don't know if they're divorced yet or not, but yeah, she gets captured, and they're like, oh, she'll be okay. We'll leave her. I'm sure she'll be fine. We'll worry about her later. And it's like they're like dining at these riverside luxury restaurants, having these meals. It's like, yeah, she's fine.
It's probably fine.
I thought that was amusing
casual
too.
They were.
Also, keep in mind it was Donnie Yen who said that, and he's the jilted ex-lover, I suppose. But I don't think that's what they were thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That made it even funnier. But yeah, I was just
my ex-wife is probably fine. It was just she was kidnapped by the cult. But when are we going to be in Cambodia again? Let's get some food.
It really is eating the riverside steak that I think and they even get to have a whole conversation on cutlery. It just doesn't. They're just like not bothered by whatever's going on.
No sense of urgency.
Yeah. But maybe that's why they're such a successful team. They're not nervous or worried, so they can just go in and do what needs to be done.
They are pretty competent. Get right down to it.
They're amazing. Even the wife, the ex-wife, like when she goes to the mask shop, she just starts kicking ass. Like,
that's the thing I was going to bring up too. I mean, even in actual flat out kung fu movies, it's generally not actually true that every single character knows kung fu. But in this one, everybody knows kung fu.
Like
doesn't matter who they are.
The only one who didn't, I think, were the girls who got massacred at the beginning. Right? Are those the only? It's the only time I don't remember seeing somebody, and maybe the librarian lady, because I think she ends up throwing the thing in there, but. I just remember how surprised I was when she's at the mask shop and she just starts throwing, because the whole movie I haven't seen her do anything like that I can remember. And
and there's nothing
really?
There's just no context for it. It's just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Turns out she's a trained martial artist, 3rd-degree black belt. Who knew?
And we even get deadly animals. They're some of them are better than others.
I know. There's just the repetition of the Wildcats too made me laugh. It's like, oh, it's Attack of the Stock Footage Animals. But,
except what was funny is it didn't look like stock footage. It looked like
some was.
It
some
was.
Some wasn't.
Well, what about the leopard though? Like there was a scene with the leopard, and it looked like they just got the feeblest leopard they could get.
Yes.
And they put it in front of, like, this is definitely not going to kill our leading actors.
The tiger was not in the same
shot.
Okay.
Yeah, the tiger was a different shot, right.
And with the alligator too, they're going through a tourist area for crocodiles. They're going through a tourist area for viewing crocodiles. I'm like, ooh, and they're like, oh no, crocodiles in this enclosed area.
That was a great scene.
Around them.
So the scene he's talking about, they're going over this walkway pavilion across a river, and there's all these crocodiles, and when you see the wide shots of the characters on the planks, it doesn't look like there are actual crocodiles below them. So I don't, but when they shoot the shots they show of the water, there are these ravenous crocodiles just eating everything. And and I think that it was a really cool scene just because I liked the choreography they got out of that pavilion with the roof, and I thought
Oh
that
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not. It entertained me more than anything else. I'm not really even critiquing it. It was just funny.
but
There's a lot of variety in that last area too, because there's also like a dungeon area, like a
yeah.
cave, and it's like, what is
Uh-huh.
this place? What do we use this for?
Yeah, and I don't even remember what. I just remember they just kind of end up there. It just seemed like there was like a stuff
Yeah.
going on. They end up in the cave, and then they fight the Colonel Martin. They fight Martin, and again, that's one of the reasons I think having the fight choreographer was such a great idea for this villain is because the moment he pulls out the sword cane thing or the dagger cane, whatever it is, he's just very ferocious and capable, and you can tell they don't necessarily need a stunt double for this guy. So
Yeah.
it really worked.
The energy of the film is such like that while watching it, I was not questioning that they were going because they go directly from that into an ambush, quote unquote ambush from I think it was a leopard and then a tiger.
Yeah.
They just kind of walked by them at a brisk pace, and then they unrelated to that, they go over and see the crocodiles. They throw them some food.
It reminded me of in 24, like when the daughter used to just kept going from one dangerous scenario to the next between things happening. Yeah, the writer also did mention that they made like he tailored everything so that the actors would look as good based on whatever their skill set was. And so he,
Oh,
like
that's brilliant.
one of the things he commented on was how he the woman who played the princess, Pauline Young. I think she did the singing in the opening theme song. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was her. But he mentioned how he like knew if they shot her a certain way, if they had her doing this kind of fight sequences, it would just look really good. And so and obviously they made good use of Donnie Yen, and also the stuff with Sybil who I guess is one of the reasons the movie got made, because they managed to get her in that role. Yeah, because she was kind of because Donnie Yen wasn't really like he had been in a few movies, and he had been in oh god, I'm losing track of the name of the franchise, but the Yes Madam series. He was in like
Oh yeah,
part
yeah.
four in the Line of Duty. He was in the Line of Duty 4, and he did a really good job in that, but he still wasn't like the big name quite yet. And so I guess her being in it was a really important part of the marketing for the movie. And they were also kind of having her play a role that was sort of interesting for her as an act, because she's the police sergeant who's just shouting at him and swearing at him and yelling at him the whole
Oh
time.
man,
Yeah.
she's fantastic in that.
Hmm.
So like one of the great characters of this movie, just extremely angry police lady. Every scene
Yeah.
she's in utterly steals it.
I felt like she
So
was mad at me sometimes. She was getting so angry. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? It was
I
like,
felt like I was getting dressed
yeah.
out.
Uh, but
Usually I got to pay for that kind of treatment. So
well, what was funny too is when she quits and then she's like, "I'm going to leave and go become an actress." And then she's out of the film.
Yeah.
Just like,
I know. It's just like exits the movie abruptly. It's like, all right.
I thought that's like one of the more unusual ways of trimming down characters in a horror movie. It's just I'm just
Yeah.
off to
They just
Hollywood
leave.
to go be a star. But yeah, that was I really liked her. I thought that it's kind of almost besides the point. Like movies like this have scenes like that with like the no nonsense police detective, but it's usually more kind. But everything she does is so peripheral to everything else that's going on. Do you know what I mean? So but it adds to the
Yeah.
movie.
yeah, it's entertaining without necessarily having direct plot relevance. And
Yeah.
you know what? I feel like movies have lost that art. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
because a lot of times you'll see a movie and it's very stripped down and everything's just plot related.
Everything's
That's very
tied too tight.
disciplined.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. There. That's perfect. That's the perfect way of saying it. It is tied too tight. Life isn't like that, and part of you knows that it's artificial. It's like
Yeah.
whenever you watch something on a sound stage, and like something deep in your mind is like, it's not real. Same thing.
I like a
Everything's
little
too
I like a
tightly
little
plotted.
shaggy dogness to my stories. I mean, I know you're reading Vance at the moment. I love Vance because his stories can go weaving in all kinds of weird directions. But,
Yeah, that's a really good observation. Actually, damn it, you're on fire
Yeah.
today, Adam.
Thank you.
But yeah, no. Again, that natural element of just like, hey, look, of course there's a cop there, let's give
Yeah.
her let's give her enough that the audience pays attention and enjoys it when that's happening, because it's inevitable, not because it's plot relevant, not because it reveals anything about the moon demon or anything. It doesn't even really significantly get in their way. They bail them out
Yeah.
at the end
Well,
of the scene, like.
to pull out one of my things I say all the time too about the Coen brothers, it's like the thing about their movies is every minor character is fascinating when you watch a Coen brothers. You know, just the guy working at a counter, and you're in.
Yeah, the guy that brings in the bail is amazing,
So-
right? Because it's just this
Well-
disorganized pile of bills and change.
Exactly.
He has a count.
The
How can we make this scene and this character entertaining? Is it work in
all,
this movie?
all of the characters aren't like there's even like the Robert Mock character. I think is called Chow Yun Fat in this one. I don't know if that's a play on Chow
Oh yeah,
Yun Fat.
He's a good.
Yeah,
dude.
I think it is a play on the name.
It's gotta be.
yeah.
It's gotta be.
Hey.
Because he even kind of
Especially at that
announces
time
it in like a very over dramatic way. But just when he comes
in
in, he,
1991, who wouldn't think
Yeah.
it is really the question?
Yeah.
I mean,
but I also just love like when he comes in and he pays the money for the bail, and he gets into the whole interaction with the Sybil Who character. But yeah, and again, I'm going to spoil something, but I feel like I need to talk about it. So if you don't want a spoiler, stop listening now. But the way that
not
he's the guy that gets killed, right? And he's like the funny. And I always think when movies kill the funny man, it has more effect. And so I just liked that. That they kind of built up this comedic side character, and then they whack him in the finale.
Oh yeah, that finale is off the rails too, man.
It has
What
everything.
a great, glorious ending. It does. It has everything. It's got nude. It's got not an orgy, but just like new people everywhere. Bullets flying all over the place. Awesome kung fu battles. It's so
a
good.
moon goddess
Absolute
cult
chaos.
thing. Well, you know what's cool
is.
too? In the intro, at least in the uncut version, I forget how much of this they show you in the international version. They show you what happens at the end pretty much. Do you know what I mean? Even but you don't realize that's what you're being shown. And so I thought that was kind of cool. It's very Carlito's way, but it's not anywhere near as like that heavy-handed of a glimpse into what's going to happen. But it's like they're like, okay, we're going to show you what's going to happen, and you won't even know it. And then when you get there, you'll understand.
Well, it's because the end of the movie, the imagery is so shockingly strange. Like the moon goddess with the weird, like, pale skin and, like, all that stuff. It's so visually distinct. It's like what's that one guy who did El Topo and all of those? It's like one of his movies, Jodorowsky. It's like a Jodorowsky thing. It's like, what am I looking at here? I'm looking at a bizarre surrealist painting. So even seeing that, there's no way any mortal has a chance of contextualizing it prior to getting all the information.
And I love the like things like the lightning sword that she was using. I don't remember what the name
Lightning
was.
sword's beast.
Yeah, it was a cool weapon. And I liked the I don't know, just the whole way that the finale was just like everything came together. You had the guns, you had the martial arts, you had the sword play. I think there was there a bow and arrow in that scene, or was that an earlier scene? I know there was a spear or something like that. But
There was a spear in that. There's a really good spear fighting sequence. I didn't cheer, but if I were in a theater, I may have cheered when the spear came out. I love a good spear fight.
Yeah, me too.
But it was and also just like the whole thing with the guys like in full regalia as like the divine figure on. It's just very interesting. But yeah. So and also, what did you guys think of the ending? Because the ending, we get sort of one of those
Like
things.
the very ending.
The very ending one, with the motorboat going under the. Well, we should explain to
it was
people what
rough.
happens. So
Yeah,
they're all,
let's give
the heroes are all gathered after they've defeated the evil, and they're like, "Oh, maybe we'll see you in Hong Kong." Blah blah blah. And then they see a guy driving by in a boat. And he's like, "Hey guys!" And for a moment, you think it's going to be the Robert Mock character hasn't died, and they're just letting you know he's still alive or something. But it turns out that it's the Moon Monster actor, I think, because they recognize him. But he's like, but now he's got short hair. And he looks kind of more respectable or something. I don't know. And so
I think the demon wasn't a bad guy. He just had a bad master. Now that his master was dead, he's like, he's not free. He's like, hey guys, sorry about all that, man. I'm just moving on. Bye. That's my interpretation.
Well, it's also that he was playing possum again, which is great, right?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
his move. And he did that so many times in the movie. He was like, "I'm definitely dead," and no, of course he
Yeah,
isn't.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's a much better explanation than my stupid one.
Well, I had a couple of
I
explanations.
like your stupid one.
I like it
What-
too. It's still stupid. Doesn't mean I don't
Right,
like
no,
it.
I'm not taking anything away from it.
One explanation is that he was inhabiting the body of a normal guy, and that was just the normal guy finally taking back
Oh.
whatever had
Oh,
been
okay.
inhabited.
I didn't think about
Though,
that.
though the final note at the end of the shot kind of undermines that interpretation.
It does seem
Yeah.
like he's definitely evil.
But and then the other thing could be like something like what Adam said, or just that this guy is just always an ever existing thing that will never be destroyed, and that's I don't know, but
Well, I mean, isn't that prophesied from the tribe? Doesn't he just always come back no matter what they do?
I guess that's true. They do say
yeah.
that.
Like maybe he's just back to being a normal guy for the next 30 years. It's like, I'll be here next Demon Moon. See you guys.
But
You crazy kid. I'll see you when you're 60s.
But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting ending because it's sort of like on the cusp of sort of. It's one of those endings where it's like they always do the thing where it's like you see oh no, the monster is really still there. There's really still, and it was kind of that, but it was ambiguous enough that you weren't really sure, and so it's sort of like
Yeah, it's the tone of the scene is very strange.
Yeah.
It's like
It is.
not. There's nothing hostile about his reaction, like his announcement to them. It just seems friendly.
Yeah,
It's
he's just like, hey
really
guys,
odd.
hey, how are you? He's very jovial.
My God. I mean, it might be mocking, but it's sort of ambiguous, isn't it? I like that though. It kind of cements its final note as kind of a horror note, which I think is very appropriate.
Yeah, well, it's the
Also-
classic thing, like when the guy looks back and his eyes light up, and it's like, oh no, he really is still an evil,
It's the
lycanthrope.
thriller ending.
Yeah, the thriller ending.
Yeah.
But I feel like here it was again, like Adam said, the tone is just kind of very hard to read, and then it does end with like I don't remember his eyes light up, but something happens that feels a little bit
His
sinister.
whole self lights up.
Yeah, but you're still not sure. You're just like, I don't know how seriously I'm supposed to be taking that final little moment there or not, and even if it is serious, what it means.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, too, even if he is still a demon, he's still a moon demon, and he's a bad guy, it's like the 30-year cycle is over. It's like 30 years, there's no point in attacking these people. He's got absolutely nothing to gain. It's like he's just going to hang out. He's going to go on vacation for 30 years and wait till the next cycle and do the same thing again. So,
That's
there's
on
basically
Highlander time,
he's off the clock, basically, I think is the way I'm reading it.
Yeah, I'll clock back in when your kids are old enough to battle me.
Yeah.
But
That's great.
yeah. So I don't know. Any other thoughts on this one before we depart?
It's really colorful. There's a certain kind of lens flare that keeps happening in this movie that makes these like little rainbows basically around the point of light, and it adds so much color and so much energy to scenes. I absolutely love it. I don't know what kind of lens or whatever they were using, and I don't think that was intentional, but frankly, it gives the movie a really unique look. So I just wanted to point out that it's a very, very interesting visual movie for at least that reason too.
Well, the whole movie has like, even just in terms of color palette of the contents, is very. There's like a candy color to certain things. He's kind of like Holy Flame of the Martial World is like that. I think Bastard Swordsman is kind of like that. I think he might have a penchant for those sort of. Like Holy Flame of the Martial World, you feel like you just fell into a candy store with the colors that you see.
Yeah, they're fighting each other with literal candy. Well, not literal, but
But they might as well. They look like blow pops, right? Like some of the items in the movie look like blow pops.
yeah.
But yeah, or no, not blow pops, ring pops. What were they? Remember the ring pops that look like a diamond?
Yes.
That's sort of the overall color feel of
Aesthetic,
Holy Flame of the Martial World.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a really fun movie. I think it's, like I said, it's like really high level schlock. Like it's fun, it's entertaining. I don't feel like I watched Witch from Nepal again right before I watched this, and I showed Witch from Nepal to a friend because I was curious what their reaction was going to be. And I like Witch from Nepal, but I don't think it's like the greatest movie in the world. And I contrasting these two movies, I realized like Witch from Nepal is kind of like a better made movie, and it has a lot of the same kind of things in it. And it's very interesting. Like I would encourage people to watch Witch from Nepal just because it's a very interesting film, and it has a lot of things that the director will kind of later use in when he makes a Chinese ghost story. But I in contrasting these movies, what I noticed was this is kind of like what I wanted Witch from Nepal to be like. Like I wanted Witch from Nepal to be this fun. And it doesn't, and it can't be because it's doing something else, so it's kind of unfair.
Yeah.
But going from that to this, it's like, oh yeah, this is the kind of movie I'm looking for right now.
It's more your taste, is what
yeah,
you're saying.
it's more. Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think Witch from Nepal, it fits my taste. It just didn't stick the landing as well as it could have. Like I think if they'd done a few things, it would have. And this is a movie where it just kind of everything just works. It's just
That's a great description of this movie. Actually, everything just works. There's no there's no fat on it, but not like it was cut down to the bone. More like it's just extremely well oiled and it's muscular and capable. This is like the Bruce Lee of movies, just because you're right. Everything works. Everything's constantly in motion. Everything's got a job and it does it perfectly. It's just a really watchable, fun movie, dude.
Yeah, and it starts right away. It's like it just hits you with like action right away.
Yeah,
so it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're not
100%.
waiting for stuff to happen, and there aren't really lulls in the
Didn't waste your
movie.
time.
When there are moments where the characters have to kind of rest or settle, it's just enough time that you're like getting into what they're doing, and then something happens, and so it's like it has a really good sense of pacing.
There's no confusion in the movie. That's another thing. There's a lot that happens in this movie. They straight up introduce major characters roughly at the halfway point of this movie with very little context. It's a wedding duel between a potential suitor and a princess in this like jungle kingdom, and it's like it has no build up at all, right? And yet it gives you enough context, and then it just massages it into the movie.
Well, and you know what that does? That's a really great way to introduce the princess character, because they're trying to show that like she's like this warrior that can handle the demon, the moon demon. It also, I think, kind of sets up one of my disappointments with the movie is the princess. Was it Princess White Egret? I think is her name. The whole thing is they're trying to get her to marry somebody, and the guy has to like basically be her match, and the guy is not worthy because he can't. It's kind of like a Red Sonja type situation, right? And so
he takes the trash out pretty quick.
But Donnie Yen shows himself to be very capable with martial arts, so I felt like they were kind of setting you up for these two are going to become like he's going to get over his wife, and he's going to end up with the princess at the end of the movie. And
that was my read too, and none of that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it could still happen. They leave the door open for it happening, but there's no, there's nothing to close it. They don't tell you.
They don't.
So, but yeah, so I think we'll. But either way, we can end it, at this point. And
this is a recommend for me. I definitely go pick yourself up a copy of this film.
Yep, I recommend.
All right, so now I will recommend it as well, and I don't know what we're gonna do next. I think we're gonna talk about Twin Peaks, because I was finally tied to a chair and forced to be made to watch the Twin Peaks pilot episode.
You awoke in a strange red curtained room with black and white checkered tiles, and we forced you to watch Twin Peaks.
So
I did a little dance. It was great.
So we'll probably be on talking about that. And until next time, we will talk to you later.